What's up, everyone? Maximilian here, and I wanted to make a follow-up episode to that one quick video I was making about the EVO announcement, where we're going to be having the Assist Me panel, and that frequent question I get all the time. This is actually going to be episode 1 in an ongoing series where I answer questions from the YouTube community. I still plan on doing some things to answer the questions on like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, and putting up videos for that, so no need to worry there. I just haven't had the chance to get to it yet. But getting into this one, this is going to be, I think I'm going to call this Ask Max Episode 1, because with the amount of questions I get on YouTube about, like, general stuff about the games, general stuff about the production of the show, general stuff about YouTube in general, in the sense working with YouTube, it's, there's a lot to answer, so we're going to get things started here. First up, the most frequent question that I get amongst any over the past year that I've been doing this is, Max, why don't you go to tournaments anymore? I did go to tournaments for a very, very, very long time. Even up until the beginning of the Street Fighter 4 days, I was very tournament heavy. However, right around that time, I had a pretty important job. I just got married, and a lot of things were very busy. Right now, I mean, in my current state, I am currently a YouTube producer. I produce video content on YouTube. I'm an editor, and I'm a designer on the side when it comes to freelance work. And then at the same time, I do hosting work for Machinima on their Machinima Versus channel, and other random spare projects that come along here. I guess you can include the YouTube production stuff with, like, the Assist Me stuff, but that all, like, comes out of our pockets and ends up being something that's kind of separate from the whole thing with, like, directing and writing and acting and post-production and special effects and sound balancing, sound design, and all this crazy stuff that goes with putting on, like, a YouTube show like Assist Me. So I got quite a bit of responsibilities right now, and it's I try to do my best to keep making the time to make videos on YouTube as well, because I think it's like my main goal right now. But beside from that, I did go to a lot of tournaments before, and especially considering right when I started doing YouTube, if you guys remember back in like March and April and May of last year, it was when the Online Warrior series first started, and the goal of the series was to get people like into the tournament scene. At the time, like, I had some pretty good success when going to tournaments, and I didn't actually have a lot of experience. Now, this is with Marvel specifically. I've had a lot of experience in the past with going to like Third Strike tournaments and going to tournaments for older Street Fighter games like CVS2 and stuff like that, but when it came to the newer age, not as much, because I had a lot more responsibilities when I was older than when I was younger. So before I had not really gone to tournaments. The last tournaments I had been to were Wednesday night fights and stuff like that, and stuff like I really don't even consider EVO like casual tournament setting, because when I go to EVO, I really go there to have fun. I'll compete if I can, absolutely, but a lot of the times I really despise going to Vegas and being like nervous and stressed about being at the tournament, and, you know, to do and perform well at the tournament. And I prefer just to have fun with my friends and family, and just to have a blast. Last year was kind of like that. Last year, I don't think I didn't have much time to compete at EVO, but I didn't have any time to practice for it, which was a total bummer. When it comes to things like Wednesday night fights, that was earlier last year, I was actually getting fairly good. And the thing is, to do well in a tournament, all it takes is practice. Like, that's literally it. If you guys want to do well in tournament settings, you just need to be put under that situation over and over and over again until you become comfortable with it. Once it comes to the point where you're in this moment of, you know, what would normally be stressful, where you need to perform extremely well, or you need to, like, you know, hit a combo or something like that, you just need to be put into those situations more often. I mean, you know, Justin Wong, who's one of the best or most prolific tournament players there are, didn't get to the way he is now, while being so awesome under, like, choke moments, unless he had moments to practice that, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, is that I started to get used to it back in the day, and I think the last tournaments I went to were a couple of, like, local casual stuff where guys like LLND and some other dudes were there, like Gent, and the last one I went to, like, I won, and it was awesome. I think you could find videos of that on YouTube still. The other ones were like Wednesday night fights, and I remember the last Wednesday night fights tournament, there was a turnout of like 65 people on one evening. This was back when it was at the Proud Bird, and I got top 8, and it was freaking awesome. I was actually really happy with myself that I was able to get into top 8. This was back with, like, Crazy, the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. What kind of sucks is that I haven't had any time to go to tournaments since then. And that was the thing, is that I on that day that I think I got top 8, I had the chance to jump on the mic, and I was explaining to everybody what I was doing at the time. And that was right as I was working on the second episode of Assist Me, which was the episode with Wesker and Doom. And that one had a very complicated and very long fight scene, and me, a person who had not done much editing before, figuring out how to do it. And that stuff was very time-consuming. Now, when it comes to doing stuff like YouTube, and going to tournaments and being a quote-unquote professional fighting game or professional and competitive gamer, you have to make a choice. And here's the challenging part, is that you need to understand where you have to dedicate your time and what you think should be more valuable to dedicate your time to. And before I thought it was absolutely towards, being better at Street Fighter, to be better at certain fighting games, to want to be, more active in the community and stuff like that, to get more involved and go to tournaments more often. And I'm not going to lie, dude, going to Wednesday night fights is some of the most fun I've had at tournament settings in a very long time. Like, that stuff is an absolute blast. Like, everybody comes up to you and says hi. It's real. Everyone's really chill and really nice about it. I can't say anything better, and I actually have a ton of fun doing it. But at the same time, when I was producing early video content, I had to make that choice between, well, am I going to go to Wednesday night fights with my little bit of spare time, or am I going to finish editing this video? And the problem is that if you end up procrastinating things too much, it gets stuck on a back burner that'll never get finished, or else it takes way too long to finish and stuff like that. And I like being, hasty with the things I work on. I like them to come out at an appropriate time, but still present quality. That's why a lot of the stuff you see on my channel right now, I like to produce more content than usual, because a lot of you guys request more Marvel content and other games and stuff like that, which is why you hear me do live commentary. But a lot of the other stuff, like the Online Warrior episodes for certain games that have, like, post-edited content, like Ultimate Marvel, that stuff takes a while. And it takes a while to gather other people's footage and things like that. So that's the thing. When it comes to, do you want to benefit and contribute to the community in a certain way, and you have to choose which way that is. You can be the guy that goes to tournaments, and essentially, by going to a tournament, you're making the scene bigger, you're making the pot bigger, and by making the pot bigger at a tournament, you're inclining other bigger tournament players to come there to essentially win the money. And that's the thing, is that is necessary when it comes to tournament settings. The pot needs to get bigger. There needs to be more money involved to get more people involved. But at the same time, I thought, as much as I was enjoying going to Wednesday night fights, I made the choice that I want to work on these videos more. That I want to stay home, produce this video content, and that ended up being the story for a very long time. After that, there was several moments where there were majors that were coming up, things that were like beside EVO. Wednesday night fights tournaments and stuff like that, where I had a little bit of time from being off of work, and I had to dedicate that time into something, and either it was, spending time with my family, which was my wife, and other than that, working on videos and producing content for people that seem to really enjoy it. And the fact of the matter is that when I went to tournaments, it's awesome to be there, to interact with people, to have fun, to play the games. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I'm there for a tournament. I'm there to play the game. And I'm a lot different than a lot of guys, because most people that are into competitive gaming are in it for the money. They're in it specifically to win money. And that was never my motivation. Like, whenever I've won tournaments, it's really weird getting paid at the end to me. I mean, not just for the fact that, I'm not used to winning tournaments, so you're not used to getting paid. It's the fact that I enjoyed the experience so much that it seems weird that you would pay me money to do that. And it's just an odd mentality thing that I've always had. I've only won like maybe 3 or 4 tournaments, and that includes like something way back in the day when I won like a multi-fighting game tournament. I won something for Street Fighter 4 when it was first out, when Family Fun Arcade had one of the first Street Fighter 4 builds, and there were like all the heavy hitters there, and somehow between like all these guys that in the Street Fighter 4 scene now, when it was really young, I ended up winning this tournament. I can't even tell you how it happened. But other than that, there's a lot of moments where I've had success in tournaments, and it's a blast, but I see the value a lot more in introducing and bringing people to the scene in a different way, other than, going to tournaments and making the scene bigger at a tournament and, like, helping people out, get more money involved. I find a lot more personal value and reading the stories of people that are getting into fighting games because of watching my videos and things like that, because they actually got into Marvel because they saw like an Assist Me video that they found entertainment and value and they shared it with somebody else. I find that really, really satisfying, and whenever I read that from people, it kind of motivates me to keep going, that they want to get into fighting games. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that's lacking in the fighting game community sometimes is the acknowledgement that people really want to get into this stuff, but it's hard for them, and it's difficult to get into. So as long as what I'm doing can actually remain as an outlet to that, I actually put a lot more personal satisfaction behind that than going to tournaments. And I ended up looking at myself going to a tournament and spending my time doing that as kind of like a selfish experience for myself. It's like, when I go to a tournament, it's technically just for me at that point. It's me going there, having fun, doing something that I want to do, but at the same time, when I was doing something here, I was getting personal satisfaction out of it, and then a lot of other people were sharing that experience. So that's a big motivating factor when it comes to making like the fighting game videos that I do, is that my biggest goal is to make the scene bigger by introducing people, and if that in turn makes the tournament scene bigger because those people eventually would like to become competitive. That's essentially the goal, is that you want to be competitive with other people, then you end up going to tournament scenes. So just my take on the whole situation. My apologies for the guys that really want me to see me in tournaments. I'm not declining it at all. I do want to go, but in a lot of the situations where there have been moments in the past year where I can go, there's other things that are much more important, whether it's directing a shoot, whether it's editing the videos, whether it's spending time with my family, or working on other projects. And that's kind of the thing that sucks about growing up, is that you kind of have to start making these decisions about, I don't know, I think I would like a lot to go back to tournaments and frequent Wednesday night fights and things like that, because it just makes me a lot better at the game. And let's be honest, playing online is awesome, but playing offline is 100 times better. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of insight. If you have any other questions related to the stuff I was talking about here, please leave a message below in the comments field. Other than that, I'm going to keep this series frequent, and I'm going to actually take comments from folks like you, and I'm going to go through the messages and the comments and see if there's any good questions that I can answer in the next episode, and hopefully burn through a few of them, since a lot of you guys have questions a lot of the time, and I'd like to answer those with a little bit of gameplay in the background. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and as always, this has been Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.